What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And I wanted to share with you all a concerning statistic that suggests the Kansas City Chiefs are in big trouble after starting the season 0-2. We'll break it all down right after this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back into another video on my channel. So unless you've been living under a rock, you already know that the Kansas City Chiefs are starting their 2025 NFL season with an 0-2 record after dropping their Week 2 game versus the Philadelphia Eagles by a final score of 20-17. Now, it was something that we were all hoping to avoid. And while a lot of Kansas City Chiefs fans aren't necessarily hitting the panic button yet, and I am not either personally, there's a lot of things to be concerned about with this team right now. But I found a stat last night after the game, after doing some digging around. And actually, I was able to go back in my email and find this from stathead.com while I was doing research last night about the trends of what happens to teams after they start out the NFL season 0-2. So again, this is from stathead.com. Season performance of NFL teams starting 0-2. All time, 57 teams that started off 0-2 in NFL history went on to have a winning season. That's 14% of teams to start off 0-2. Only 9.6% of teams to start off an NFL season 0-2 ended up making the playoffs. Only 1% of teams that started off the season 0-2 made the Super Bowl. And of course, you see there less than 1%, only 3 teams ended up winning the Super Bowl after starting their season off 0-2. So this is a very concerning stat for the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you're a Chiefs fan, because it really puts a damper on what your expectations are this season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I have my own personal thoughts on this. I'm going to share with you guys, why I think the Kansas City Chiefs shouldn't be panicked after this, but also why I think this is a very concerning start to the Chiefs season. So let's start with the positive side of this first. Because you look at that chart, you look at the numbers. Historically, history says that the Kansas City Chiefs probably won't win the Super Bowl this year after starting 0-2. Now, at the same time, history would have told you that the Kansas City Chiefs wouldn't have made last year's Super Bowl, being the first team to try and win a three-peat, or trying to be the first team to actually complete the three-peat. No other team in NFL history that was slated to go for a three-peat actually ended up making that three-peat Super Bowl. So the Chiefs had already accomplished something that had never been done before, although they weren't able to actually go out and win the game, and that was a major disappointment. But my main point is that the Kansas City Chiefs have bucked a lot of trends throughout the years. Patrick Mahomes is an outlier when it comes to what the statistics say will happen. The Kansas City Chiefs are an outlier when it comes to what the statistics say will happen. And look, I think we saw reasons to be optimistic after last night's game. I thought the defense played much better. I think you can build off of that performance. Still got to do something about that pass rush, and I talked about that last night. But the defense, a massive improvement from week 1 to week 2, that tells you that they will soon be winning these games. And then we just got to get guys healthy back on offense. The offense is the bigger concern now coming out of week 2, but you at least have the excuse that they don't have everyone right now and reinforcements are on the way. That is certainly true. You can make that argument. And so that's why I think a lot of Chiefs fans aren't necessarily hitting the panic button right now. And again, personally, I'm not hitting the panic button either. There's still a lot of football left to be played. And I just think that it would be a little bit different if the Chiefs started off 0-2 with like a blowout loss and just an utterly terrible loss to a team they shouldn't have lost to. Like if they had played, I don't know, the Miami Dolphins in one of their first 2 games and they had lost, then I think the concern level would be a little bit higher because you just shouldn't be losing to a team like that. The Chiefs have played 2 good, talented teams in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, and they lost by the thinnest of margins, really. It was just a few self-inflicted wounds that unfortunately caused the Chiefs to lose those games. These aren't the other teams beating the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the Kansas City Chiefs beating themselves right now. Now, let's be honest, though, the margin for error is already razor thin with starting off the season 0-2. And that's kind of the part that stings a little bit if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And I want to get more into the negative side of this and why I think this stat is just a little bit concerning. But all of that will be right after this message from our partners on this channel. Wanted to take a moment to shout out our partners on this channel over at W Energy. Guys, if you have not heard of W Energy, you're absolutely missing out right now. If you're someone like me that needs that jolt of energy when you first wake up in the morning, or when you're trying to take on a big task for the day, such as working out, or maybe trying to complete a project for school, anything like that, W is an essential. I'm someone that unfortunately has gotten into the bad habit of drinking a lot of caffeinated energy drinks filled with sugar or artificial sweeteners or flavors, but I'm trying to curb that now by using W Energy, which is a much better alternative. W is a powered energy drink that replaces other inferior caffeine beverages. It contains zero harmful chemicals, zero fillers, zero artificial colors or dyes, and no proprietary blends. The star of the show is their coffee fruit extract, which helps you focus without the jitter or the crash of other energy drinks or caffeinated drinks out on the market. And they just sent me their Japanese yuzu flavor that I've been drinking recently. It is absolutely fantastic. One of the better tasting energy drinks that I've ever had. And I'm going to continue to use it and check out some of their other flavors as well. I encourage you all to do the same. And luckily for you, you can use my promo code SHOWMEFB by clicking the link down below and putting that promo code in when you go to checkout, and you can get an additional 10% off. Stop drinking those unhealthy energy drinks and start drinking W Energy instead. Go check out their stuff. They're going to be partnered with me all football season long. Go and check them out. So there you guys have it. Definitely go down in the description. Take advantage of that sale now by using my promo code for W Energy. They've been great to me so far. Fantastic flavors. I'm really enjoying what they've been sending me. But back to the video topic. So guys, looking at that stat for teams to start out 0-2, I'm just a little bit concerned about a few things because, again, while I think the Kansas City Chiefs are an outlier about a lot of things, and I would definitely still pick them to make the playoffs despite this slow start. I think the Chiefs will make the playoffs and all that. I do think there's reason to think that this team is simply just a husk of what it used to be in the prime Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid days. That combination, they've been great to us so far, but there's a lot of trends also that suggest that things have been going the opposite direction for a while, the wrong direction for a while. And I think the thing that's most disturbing to me that this team has started out 0-2 is that after they got their what kicked in the Super Bowl, everyone on this team was making it sound like this year was going to be the revenge tour. We're pissed. We're on a mission. We're going to get scorched earth Patrick Mahomes. You have no idea how many times I've heard that from Chiefs fans. Every time Mahomes ends the season with a loss, oh, we're getting scorched earth Mahomes next year. Still waiting to see scorched earth Mahomes. This was supposed to be the revenge year. You played the team that whooped your butt in the Super Bowl in week 2 of the season. You couldn't even get up for that to win that game. Why? Like, this was supposed to be the revenge year where you just took out your anger and your frustration from last year out on everybody. And through 2 games, you've lost. We haven't seen that. And that maybe, I think, is an indicator that this team isn't as good as they thought they were, or that, the cracks that we saw in the foundation from the Super Bowl, that never got fixed. And now it's just what we're seeing, more of the same problems that the Eagles exposed in that Super Bowl. The Chiefs' lack of a running game, their lack of ability to get after the quarterback, the weapons just simply never being healthy is a big problem that we got to start talking about. There's just a lot of things with this team that I'm seeing right now that, even though, like I said, when I took the optimistic approach, I said, look, I think there's reason to be optimistic, but at the same time, there are issues, and those issues are why the Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2 right now. And I think it's just quite honestly disturbing that this team couldn't get up for that week 1 game versus the Chargers in Brazil in prime time and come out with a win, that they couldn't face the team at home, get the Eagles again at home this time, and get revenge for the Super Bowl, they couldn't do it. And the offense looked helpless for 90% of the game. Like, those are things that are worrying me about this team right now. And last year too, with all the close loss or the close wins this team had, that really a lot of them that should have been losses. We said, or I said, I mean, a lot of fans were saying, guys, it's fine. You want to have experience in these close games and come out with a win. The Chiefs are awesome in close games. No reason to worry. And meanwhile, I was over here and I was saying that I don't like all these close wins, even against bad teams, because I think you need to show that you have the explosive ability on offense so that you can break it out when you actually need to. Like, some of these games should be blowouts. Even Patrick Mahomes himself last year said you want some of the games to be blowouts, and we didn't see that. The offense was just not good. It hasn't been the same. The offense hasn't been the same for 2 to 3 years. And the Chiefs supposedly went out and did a bunch of work to get that offense back to where it used to be, where they got the ball downfield. They talked in the offseason, this Chiefs team, about how they want to get the ball back downfield again. Through 2 weeks, it's just not what we've seen. And granted, again, injuries at wide receiver have kind of hindered that a little bit, but what has also hindered it is an offensive line that doesn't look quite ready for the moment yet, with Kingsley Suamataia essentially being a rookie at left guard. Trey Smith hasn't had his best season really after getting paid. Jawan Taylor is committing penalties all over the place. The lack of a running game is a huge issue because it just makes the pass easier to defend. And I think that's something that's hurt the Chiefs passing game more than what people have been letting on over the past couple of years. Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, these running backs aren't scaring anyone on defense, not in the year of 2025. So I'm not sure the Chiefs plugged enough holes in the offseason in order for this roster to accomplish what they set out to do. And through the first 2 weeks, these opponents have just exposed those weaknesses for the Kansas City Chiefs. I really think that if this was going to be the year that you went out and you got back to the Super Bowl and won it, that you would have started out the season with a hell of a lot more energy, a lot better execution, showed that you were more talented than the Chiefs, unfortunately, have shown so far. Patrick Mahomes got his haircut and everything. Like, I thought we were getting like vintage Mahomes, like he was changing his look up this year. That's just not what it's been. And I think that's what worries me the most, is that this 0-2 start, like, it's just not what we expected from this team. It's not. And granted, their schedules are always going to be tough, and injuries, again, I get it. But, man, this team is just not making plays. They're not making enough plays. And also the guys that you heavily depend on, like a Mahomes, and I'm not blaming Mahomes at all, but definitely Kelsey, I think, deserves a little bit of blame. Chris Jones probably deserves a little bit of blame. Trent McDuffie deserves a little bit of blame. The guys that you're paying the big bucks to on this team, George Karlaftis, they're not showing up so far. The guys that you lean on to win football games, unfortunately, have not played up to their standards so far. And I think they'd all tell you that. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for this video. Definitely wanted to bring this data to you guys and share it and get your thoughts on it. What you think? Are you concerned after the Kansas City Chiefs started their season 0-2, or are you feeling just fine right now? Definitely let me know down in the comments below. But with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com for more. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter at showmefb. That's all I got for this one. See you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.